Hello everyone, it's great to see you again in another video today. This is Wednesday 25th and this is my second video where I'm going to analyze what happened in the major stocks in yesterday's market. So thank you guys for the support you've been giving me lately. I really appreciate it. And as I said, if you got any questions related to trading, financial market or whatever, please text me on WhatsApp. The link to my WhatsApp number is on the first comment. Okay, so just go and text me. I'll be waiting for you and I'll give you great insights about how to trade and what to do next. So let's move on to what's going to happen. To what happened yesterday, sorry. So let's be real. Yesterday was about earning. It was about data. It was just about geopolitics and the market just reacted fast. So in this video, I'll break down what actually happened across stocks, indexes, gold, oil, and Bitcoin. And more importantly, why everything suddenly feels fragile once again. Yesterday, equities didn't collapse, but the tone shifted. We saw weakness across major indices like S&P 500. So SPX is here. As you can see, it's going down. And also for the Nasdaq composite. So this is not panic selling, but just hesitation. And that hesitation tells you everything because just a few days ago, the market was pricing in rate cuts, stable growth, and controlled inflation. But now, that narrative is getting challenged. Why? Because geopolitics reintroduces uncertainty that central banks cannot control. So, money just starts rotating out of risk and into protection. So, first thing we'll be going to analyze today is oil. And as I always tell you guys, please, in today's market conditions, the most important thing to analyze is the oil market because it tells you everything about what's going to happen next in today's market condition. When oil rises during geopolitical tension, the market is saying supply risk is back, inflation could reaccelerate, and global stability is questionable. And this is key. Higher oil equals higher inflation pressure. Why? Think about it. First of all, if oil is higher, if oil is more expensive to buy, then it's going to be more expensive to transfer goods, to do basically everything in life. Energy is more expensive. That's how you should think about it. And if energy and transportation costs are more expensive, that means it's more expensive to sell, which drives us back to inflation. And that's where the real fear starts. So, oil also is giving you a great and key insight about what's really happening in the conflict. So, if you really focus on oil, you're going to be understanding what's happening. Gold did exactly what it actually does in this situation. It moved up as investors looked for safety, but it isn't hard by it because slightly after the war, it just went down again, okay? So it went up to the level of 5,390 after it went down to 4,397 a month before. Then we're seeing it go down with no actual reason. Big money starts asking, if things escalate, where do we hide? And the answer is still the same, gold. But in today's market conditions, it's not the same thing. So next we'll be moving on to Bitcoin, okay? Do you see here? So Bitcoin didn't really react to this global war. And this is where things get interesting. It didn't act like pure risk, but it didn't fully act like gold either. It kind of sat in between in this level here. So let me show it for you guys, okay? So the war started here and you're on this level. So from 75 to 63, yeah. So the market still doesn't fully agree on what Bitcoin is. Sometimes it trades like tech, sometimes like a hedge. And yesterday it just hesitated, and that's also T. So now we move on to the major stocks, like Tesla, for example. That still went high because they had the TSLA project that came out yesterday. Also, their sales in Europe increased. So for all the other US stocks, they all fell in yesterday's market. Same thing for Apple. Nvidia went down also. So as you can see, if we go to the weekly chart, for example, well, you can see that we're recording lots of lows in the past few days. And for all the major US stocks, same thing for Microsoft, that went to its lower support level. Google, same thing. As you can see, we're recording lower lows every single time. And that's very bad for the market. Palantir and Circle, as I told you guys yesterday, are one of the most safe stocks you can trade in now, okay? So Amazon is kind of same thing, playing in betweens. So this is the part most people just underestimate. For months, markets were driven by the inflation data, central banks and the interest rates, and we saw how interest rates did nothing to last week's market, okay? And earnings, because suddenly geopolitics is back on the table, and when it's there, it's king. Geopolitics are just unpredictable. It doesn't follow schedules, it doesn't give warnings, it just hits you randomly, and markets reprice instantly. So, here's the shift in one sentence. The market moves from confidence to caution. Oil up means inflation risk is back, gold up means the fear is creeping in. When stocks are weak, the risk appetite is fading, and when Bitcoin is unclear, the uncertainty is everywhere. So, right now, this isn't a market to be aggressive. It's a market to be aware of because when geopolitics takes control, price action becomes reaction, not logic. So, please stay sharp, stay patient, and don't assume the trend is safe just because it was yesterday. So, as I said, please do make sure to join my live stream at 9:20 exactly. And thank you guys for the support that you're receiving lately. It's very important. So, please don't trade emotionally. Be smart and don't risk all your money in a stupid trade in today's market conditions. So thank you and I'll see you at 9:20 exactly.